Hey folks, Dave Parrish here at Knack. Today's topic. I'm just going to go do an overview of how Knack pricing structure works. This may be good for people new to Knack or considering Knack, and it's pretty straightforward. But this should be good. Appreciate it. I will see you in a minute. Thanks. Okay, I'm back. And here's the lowdown on pricing. I go to their pricing page. First, I think they have a 14-day trial. They don't have a free version. And then there's different levels that are based largely on amount of apps, amount of storage, amount of records. And there's a few functions, especially between the starter and the pro, that are really nice functions. I'm just going to go down where they're all listed. So $39 a month gets you 20,000 records. Depending on what you're doing, that may be plenty. 2 gigs. I've never really had too much of an issue with file storage. Now that's going to be uploads of any documents and images. And images can drive a lot of storage. Although in the new builder, they have a method to resize images so you can make it lower. I'm going to address records. Here's what a record is. Picture a record as a line in a spreadsheet. And you can anticipate. I'm going to pull up an app. This is like an inventory or a invoicing app or an order. And you can take a look at what's going to drive your record accumulation. So an order, in this case, this is for hospitals. These are the users. These won't drive it. I mean, you potentially could have a ton of users, but you can anticipate how they are. You get new customers. That's not going to grow, let's say, exponentially. The number of orders you get, that, is a function of how many you get. So that would accumulate. But the real driver here will be a line item. So one order or an invoice, picture having several things. You bought XYZ, you bought a widget, you bought this, you bought that. If you look at your app and you're going to anticipate how many records you're going to need over time, you can do calculations easily enough. In this case, line items would be the driver of most of them. Orders and then some of the users. That's how that works. And one thing they do that's nice, and a lot of other competitors, let's say, charge per user. I actually originally got hooked up with Knack because I was working on a project and we need a lot of users. And the system I was working in before just charged per user and it was going to be way too expensive. How Knack handles it, one user is one record. So one record. So technically it has a cost in terms of its using it, but it's nominal. It's going to count against your records, but you don't have to worry about it. That's a really, really nice feature. Let's go back. Now, between the starter and pro, a few big things. Other than this number of apps, amount of storage, and number of records. There's a whole bunch of things here, but to me, the important ones are e-commerce if you need it. You either need it or you don't, and the starter doesn't have it. Scheduled tasks. If you don't know what tasks are, they're very powerful for doing things, sending out bulk emails, updating records, and back-end data management. They're awesome. It's a really good thing. And geomaps. This means you can an address can be plotted on a map. That is nice. Another thing about any of these two, let's say 20,000 records isn't enough. You need 30 or something, or whatever. You can jump to the pro plan, and you're going to get more records. You're also going to get more storage and more apps. You may not need those. You may just need records. So they have a thing here where you can just purchase records, and you can do a calculation on a spreadsheet or something and see the what's better? Is it more cost effective to jump up to the next plan to pay $40 more, or to pay incrementally more for records or storage also? And you can just see what happens. And the way they do that, I believe, let's say you have 20,000 records and now you've exceeded it. Well, they're not going to charge you extra right then. They're going to allow it. But whatever date your billing date is, if it's above 20 there, this will come into play and you'll get charged more. So that's how that works. And then also, but you can keep going up. Each one of these has more apps, more storage, more records. And if you're into API stuff, that's going to be important too, but this isn't for most users. Then they have larger ones too. You can just keep going up. Let's look at the larger ones. I think they used to call these enterprise. I'm not sure, but they have these. And they can get a lot. You can get lots of them or even more things. And they have a couple other things too. This is for more advanced users also. They call it private server. I don't even know if it's in these plans. You can pay for them to configure a server. You don't own it, but it's on Amazon Network, and it's dedicated for you. I don't know what the pricing on it is. I imagine it's quite expensive, but if you need it, you need it. And that isn't constricted by these plan determinants, the number of records, storage. It can be whatever you want, meaning however you decide and pay to have that server configured, as long as it can handle this storage and this amount of records, you can do whatever you want to with it. And they have another one also. It's a HIPAA one. I don't know if they have this on this plan either. That, obviously if you need it, you need it. And that isn't cheap either. I think when they first had it start out, it was, plus or minus $500 a month. And I don't know the storage and records it allowed. But I think they changed it after that, and now they make you buy that a year up front. Maybe there's a bunch of, setup costs involved. And I think it ends up being like $6,000 for the year, something like that. I don't know exactly. But that's a good one if you need it. Otherwise, this is the deal with pricing. I don't have much more to go over, so I appreciate it. Hope this was a little bit useful. Thank you.